603-881-7030.
The views and opinions of the following show do not reflect those of WSMN, its owners, and/or associates.
Lisa and Robin are two fun friends diving deep into conversations where nothing is taboo. They believe in eating dessert before dinner and wearing the bikini. They're allergic to labels, authority, and cheap shoes. Currently, they're launching themselves through life being the good time, bold enough to take risks and inquisitively asking, what's next? They hail from New Hampshire, but they could be anywhere dressed in cute clothes. If they had to share a tombstone, it would read, "Curiosity killed these cats." Your hosts, Lisa and Robin on the mic.
Welcome back to Lisa and Robin on the mic. You are listening on WSMN 1590 AM, 95.3 FM. You can watch, stream, and listen on WSMN.live as well as YouTube and Spotify. We are talking expertise and this new world that we live in where everything is sort of torn down and nothing yet has been built back up. I don't know.
It's on the way.
Yeah.
He says, I agree.
We have my in-laws' dog with us in the studio, which was a terrible idea, but a necessary one to make something happen today. And it seems like he's perking up, and the more that we talk, the more he wants to talk as well. So I apologize for this. If you could see how cute the face is, though, you would totally be like, well, maybe we should just listen to what the dog has to say. What this Master Jedi has to say.
So if you missed us at the top of the hour, Gate City Bike Co-op is doing a fundraiser on Saturday, April the 26th at 9 a.m. until they sell out. It is 17 Airport Road in Nashua off of Amherst Street. They've used quality used bikes, priced at a fraction of a cost. They are tuned and ready to ride. Adult and children's sizes, mountain, road, and vintage bikes. They take cash, check, or credit card. Come on down for that bike sale, April the 26th.
Which is this Saturday?
I guess you're right. I'm unaware of actually what day it is.
I know. I was just looking like, what day is this?
Yes, it is
26th
this Saturday. This Saturday, Gate City Bike Co-op fundraiser.
And I think the good news is the weekend is going to be good weather as well. We have a 50% chance of rain, actually. I spoke too soon. It's New England. It's come out anyways. The rain will be on and off, I'm sure. And
yes.
You'll get a good deal on a bike. I like the bikes where you push back on the brake on your
The
feet.
recumbent? The sit-down?
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the brake on the pedals.
On the pedals instead of the brake on the hand, because I never know when to use those. And I've upended myself over the front of my handlebars more times than I can count.
I think your right one is your back brake, so that's helped to slow you down. I think I always use my left for my quick stop. That's your front. That will get your head over.
Yeah, and I'm always when I was
Head
I think
over
I was
handlebars.
21 or 22, I decided I'm going to ride a race around Martha's Vineyard. And I didn't even own a bike at that point, so I bought a bike at Service Merchandise or wherever, and I'm going to ride 26 miles in the sun with my friends, and this was a terrible idea. The race stopped probably 6 hours before we got all the way around the island.
Wow.
And it was a terrible, terrible idea.
Well, we had
like
a race
bringing
around
a dog
Martha's
into
Vineyard
studio.
too, but I didn't know we were doing a race. We were camping on the vineyard with some friends, and we all had our bikes, and we're just pedaling along, and I had never seen all of Martha's Vineyard, so we're just exploring, and she keeps cutting off. There's this little tiny bike lane, and it's not a big wide bike lane because it's a little tiny road. And she just keeps cutting in front of us. And I'm like, she keeps cutting in front of me. Like, she had to be in the front the whole time. For a while, I played with her and just said, all right, game on. Then I was like, this is so silly. This is so stupid. I'm not having a good time. I want to relax and chill. I wasn't doing a road race. I'm certainly not getting paid for it.
Yeah, that's terrible. Especially when you're like, I thought we were doing this luxury ride. At least I knew there was technically a race that I was supposed to be doing that I was just failing at. But it wasn't like I'm going for a leisurely ride and now all of a sudden Lance Armstrong on the side
Right.
racing around with cars and stuff.
Tour de
So-
Cape. The Tour de Vineyard. Yeah, like no. I'm not I played for a few minutes and then I was like, wait, this is ridiculous. Why do I want to kill myself? I don't want to break a sweat.
Well, that's what people just don't realize. I want to work out while also not sweating.
Right.
Is Robin's main. When she says, I don't want to punish myself, what she's actually saying is, I don't want to sweat. That's what she's actually saying.
Actually, I like to sweat. I mean, not just sitting here, but like, yes.
Yeah.
I don't like to get like, bleh, but I don't mind doing like hard work with funny. For whatever reason this weekend, our sleep schedule all got mixed up. So I had gotten up at like 4:30 and I looked at the clock and I'm like, it's way too early to get back in bed, to get out of bed. So I just was going to lay here and next thing you know, so I thought Chris had gotten up to go to the bathroom and then next thing I know, I must have fallen back to sleep. He didn't get up. So now it's like 5:45. I go downstairs. I'm coming down the stairs and he's coming in from the pool area. And he's all sweaty, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Is it hot outside?" And he's like, "No, I've been doing some gardening." I'm like, "What?"
4:30. Did he see the Leonid
Been doing some
meteor
edging.
shower?
What?
Did he see the Leonid meteor shower? Because that was the
I
last
don't-
couple of days.
I don't know. I don't think he would. I think he would have said something if he had.
Yeah, well,
saw
he was
it, but-
looking down on the garden. He might not have been looking
So
up
then
too.
the next thing you know, I'm like, I'm out there. It's 6:30 in the morning, and I've got my slippers on, and I'm edging too, and I'm down on my hands and knees pulling out. So where he's trimming, so he's edging, and I'm pulling out all the grass and the dirt, and go get the wheelbarrow, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fix my party lights in the tree. So I'm up in my pajamas. I'm up on the ladder in the thing, and I'm like, I haven't even had coffee yet. So I mean, our day started with yard work at like 6:30 in the morning because most of the time he's like, I have my routine in the morning. We're not going to do anything, and usually like I can't get him to do anything before like 10 o'clock.
Well, I was just going to say, too, to be doing anything physically before you have your coffee, it's like I can't even have a conversation before I have my tea. I need
Right.
some kind of caffeine to be
Right.
working in there.
So I was like, wow. And then, I went in to check and I was like, are you hungry? And he's like, it's too early for breakfast yet. I looked in and it's like 8 o'clock. I've conditioned and trained my family, like weekend breakfasts are like 10:30, somewhere around there. So I'm like, have a nice big breakfast that carries you over to dinner. And I'm like, we're going to be out. I'm like, now I know why older people get why they offer the early bird. I mean,
Because they've been up since 4.
yes, and like we've been doing some heavy lifting at 6 o'clock in the morning. Like
You're going to be in
toting
bed
that
by
wheelbarrow.
7. You're going to be in bed by 7.
Got to eat by 4:30. We got to be in bed by 7. That's like
Totally makes sense now. You
can't
got to
do
stop
that.
making fun of them.
I know. I'm like, oh, I get it. You're just more productive in the morning.
Yes. Yeah, and I wish I was really productive because I got up at 3 the other morning and I just couldn't go back to sleep. And I'm like, I should do something. So at 5:30, I'm like, I actually should just start the day,
Yeah.
and get a jump on it. And then by 7 o'clock, I'm like, why aren't I in bed? I don't
I'm
even think I
still
can
in
eat
resistance to being I'm still like, I have to do that. But the minute I get up and go outside, like I love working in the yard. I mean, I think my fingernails have paid the price, but the minute I get out of my routine in the morning of like sitting there having my coffee and doing the meditation, I will get up and start getting busy. I do like to be productive in the morning. My mindset is so I can play later.
Mm-hmm.
That's always the reason why I'm like, let's front load now so then we can play later. I have my evening done. It's why I like all the dishes, like after dinner, I like all the dishes, like I'm physically in my mind closing the kitchen down. And so when I wake up in the morning, it's ready to go with a fresh start. I don't have a mess to clean up from the night before. I don't like
I just wish there was an elf that would come and unload the dishwasher
I
first
know,
thing
right?
because I feel like I'm doing chores before I do even any
And
chores.
as soon as you get out of bed, change your sheets, clean sheets.
If I could time it properly, but dinner's always so late, I wish I could do the dishes and then put them away at night. So in the morning, there was just no immediate chore that had to be done.
See, when I cook, I always clean as I go. And I mean, and Chris always helps me do the dishes. So he'll wash them, I'll dry them and put them away. If it's just, because mostly by the time we've eaten, the only thing, but by the time we have finished eating dinner, the only thing that's left is our plates and like whatever else, like dipping sauce containers or whatever. Or, I have to put whatever I made, put that in the Tupperware. But so it's so few items. It's not all the stuff that went into it's the measuring cups and all of that stuff. That's all done and put away. So I try to do it as I go. And so I'm like, oh, I'll time this so I can go do this. He's like, it really is. Now that he's done it a few times, he's like, it really is like a symphony. Everything's timed.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Everything is timed. And I do think that when you have someone who can do it with you, if you have a good rhythm, it's great. Or otherwise, it's stepping on everyone's feet and you're just like in the way. And that's when I think people turn around and say, oh, get out of the kitchen. Get out of the kitchen because I can't take you in here.
I know, go get it.
I think there was something funny about, people were talking about how, it was more of a dating thing. And I think, well, what people think we think is sexy and what is actually sexy. A guy loading a dishwasher is very sexy.
Yes. And doing laundry is very sexy.
No, to me, the not doing laundry is sexy because part of what my problem is, if you're just going to throw everything in the washer and everything in the dryer, I'm going to have no clothes at the end of this week of you washing. You have to read labels, and guys aren't label readers when it comes to wash.
I have to say, it was really good. The other day, my son had done laundry, and I had put our lights downstairs. I'd put our lights downstairs, and I didn't have time to do it, so I just had a few things, not enough to make a whole load. But I was coming down the steps, and I saw my sweaters laying on the dryer, and my son is like, "Oh, I did the laundry," and he said, "But I didn't put those 2 sweaters in the dryer." Like, good job.
Yeah. So at least he knew.
Cashmere, nothing. I said anything cashmere related never goes. And he's like, I know. I'm like, good job. I have 2 men. I have 2 men in my house.
Trained.
That
Two trained men.
yes.
I was watching something, and they had the Home Depot commercial, and there's a woman walking around with a drill, and she puts the battery in, and she's doing a pole saw, and the battery in. And I'm like, this is why we have a generation of men who don't know how to do anything, because Home Depot has women doing all of the housework and men with baby Bjorns with those little kids sticking out. And it's like, I know what you're trying to do on the advertising.
Yeah.
You're trying to be woke on the advertising, but men need to fix things too. Buy men the screwdrivers and buy men, because there's nothing to me as unattractive as a guy who can't fix anything.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I had actually, like, how people have the book fantasy for the boyfriend or whatever. Mine is the construction worker. And so he thinks he's going to have sex, but he just comes to my house and fixes things.
Don't they all?
Right. And you're like, wait a second, I thought this was a sexual fantasy. It is. But you didn't have sex in it. I know. Just fix all the things.
Oh, yes.
So and it's
Have
it's
you
all
ever
in good fun. It's all
have
in
you
good
ever
fun.
surprised a worker that has come to your house and not known that they were there and caught them off guard, or they've caught you off guard?
Well, I've been on a lot of job sites, so yeah. Because we used to do, when part of the thing we would do is help, buy properties that were in disrepair and then make them functional and brought up to speed on everything that needs to be done, and then we rent them. So we had a lot of contractors on site.
But no, I'm just saying, have you been caught in like a vulnerable position?
Oh, have I been caught? No.
Doing
No.
something? Yeah.
No.
So Chris bought me a bunch of these bathing suits, and yesterday I was trying them on. And I was like, oh, this will be funny. I'll send him one. I have my Sorel boots, the black ones with the red shoelaces, and it has the fur at the top.
And these are Plucky Rain boots, if you don't know what Sorel boots are.
Yes, they are clunky.
Rubbery.
Yes. So I thought this will be funny because it was just warm enough. So I have a fur hat on, and I have this black bikini on. It's black and white bikini. So I'm like, oh, there's kind of black and white. So I'm going to go out, stand by the pool, and I'm going to do a picture like spring in New England.
Yes. Yes.
And so I'm walking through the house in my bathing suit with my fur hat on and my big Sorel boots, and I open the pool door, and there is Rockingham Turf, and he and I make eye contact, and I was like, oh, hi, and just back in there real quick.
And he must have gone home. What are they doing in that household?
Well, so Chris was like, "Oh," he's like, "So did you get any pictures?" I'm like, "I got a few," and I said, "But I think I surprised our Rockingham turf guy," and he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Well, I didn't know they were there, and I thought I had the house to myself for the first time in a minute."
And I did not.
I did not. And he said, "You know what? It's funny." He said, "My mom, when he was in Virginia, he was working at a golf course. He was doing construction for a golf course. And his mom used to do, she used to be like the secretary of the manager, and she would organize jobs for a big construction company. And he's young, so he started working for them to learn the trade. And he said something about a lot of the contractors, and she said, "Oh, rich people." She said, he was going to a house, and she said, "Just be careful. A lot of the workers say that this woman likes to go and lay out by the pool naked and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "These rich people, what the hell do they do?"
Yeah.
And Chris is like, "You probably just gave her, like, what do they do? Do they like hide babies in the basement, or like there's weird life to afford the lifestyle that they're living?" It's, I butchered it, but it was kind of funny. And he's like, "I think you just gave that." And he's like, "What the hell do these people do?" Like,
Right. What do they do?
just walking around in Sorel boots, and like, I should have just started gardening.
In that outfit with the hat and everything. Yeah.
Yes. Well, it was a thong, so I was like, I'm going to back in. I'm not going to turn around.
Yeah.
Oops. I didn't know they were there. I have walked out a few times where the lawn people have been there. And a lot of times, well, you sleep commando. And I don't think anything of it. And it's not really like I have a direct view from our bedroom, but when I make the bed and I go over and I open the curtains, I'm always naked. And then, there are lawnmower guys are like right there. And I'm like, oops.
You guys need a gate so
have
you
to be
know when people
looking.
come on the property. You definitely need a gate on yours.
Or one of those little, when you do the traffic, the little cords, the tubes that go across the road and ding when you go across it. But I actually was like, where the heck did he come from? Because I looked in the driveway. There's nobody in the driveway. He literally parked his truck right by our mailbox, and we have all those shrubs right there, so you can't really see the mailbox.
Yeah.
It hid his car perfectly. But I was like, oh, the big yellow hose through the front yard would have been an indicator, but I didn't go that way. I came down the back, and I was like, oops. It's happened a few times. I've been in the pool. I was in the pool, and I was taking some pictures for him. And
Not the pool guy, her husband.
the pool guy. And then he walks in. The guy walks in.
You have
through
to make
the
that
gate.
distinguish when you say him.
Yes. For Hubs. And next thing you know, I've walked in. I'm sitting at the edge of the pool, and I'm like, so I can't get out. There's a lot of distance between me and the towel, or me and the door. And so I'm just kind of turned around a little bit. And he's like, "Oh, hi." I'm like, we need to get some kind of a alarm.
Yeah.
Or at least just let him know that you're coming. Like,
Yes.
I don't know what day you're going to show up.
Right.
That could be bad for you and me.
Right. Call before you come. Text before you come.
Sorry you had to see that. He's like, "No, I'm pretty sure they like coming to our house."
Right. Who gets to go to their house this week?
Oh, we're going to go to their property. I got it. Me.
Yeah. That takes you twice as long to do anything over there. I'm very busy. Voyeuring around.
Oh, they had a rupture in their sprinkler system. That's what we're dealing with right now too.
Well, it's the spring. It's that everything over the winter that's broken that comes back into life.
Yes.
And I when you were telling that story, I was thinking, like, what are the people that tell the story on their end? How it translates.
Yes.
She's got on a fur hat. She's got on a bikini. She got on rain boots. Like, what is this? Like, it doesn't make sense to somebody, and you're like, that's the joke. And I do think, yes, we should post that picture. That picture is actually hilarious. That's really an awesome picture.
So, when he literally, so I went down to the mailbox. I went down to the mailbox, and this is right before we had to leave for our tea time. And I was like, I'll check the mail. I haven't done it in a couple of days. I see this bag in there. I'm like, what? And he's gotten all these bathing suits. And he's like, I just wanted to surprise you. And he's like, I almost said something. But so I always try to surprise him back by doing a picture in them. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to be funny. It's kind of warm. It's still kind of funny. It's definitely New England, spring in New England. And
That spring in New England would be a great post. Because sometimes I want to take a picture of myself. I'm doing some quick shoveling, but I'm still in my pajamas, but I have on the winter clothes on top of it. And I couldn't find whatever. So you've got like lawn gloves, baseball hat, pajamas, snow boots. It's like, what is this outfit?
yes.
What is this?
It's you don't think. Like there have been so many times, you should do a whole thing about, women in New England are a very different breed, I think. There's been times where I have thrown on my Uggs, I'm in my pajamas, and I just throw a winter coat on and whatever hat I've got on, and I'm snow blowing. I've got that beast of a machine going down the driveway in my pajamas and Uggs. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
What else makes you think? Because you're not originally a New England woman. I don't even think you've turned into a New England woman. But what do you think
I'm a
kind of
hybrid.
makes us a different breed?
I think you're tough.
Yeah.
You're tough, and there's some kind of just no nonsense. Like, I don't mind getting your hands dirty. I don't mind getting my hands dirty. You don't mind getting your hands dirty. I just feel, they do what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
More so, they just do what it takes. Just do it. That's why I'm like, I'll do this. I'll do the leaf blower, snow blower. Like, it doesn't matter. And I haven't really picked my outfit in. Actually, it's too lazy to go put on my winter boots and lace them up. And I'm like, ooh, these Uggs are perfect. And just slip them right on.
Yep. What do you think characterizes a Southern woman?
Sweet tea.
Mm-hmm.
Makeup. A lot of makeup.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, like, do Southern women get caught at the supermarket
lady.
without
No.
makeup? No, never.
No. And there's a few times I was like, please don't anybody say they know me.
Well, I think
I've
every
got a few
time I
times.
go out looking like a skag, like I'm spring cleaning, God knows what I look like, my hair hasn't been washed. Not only has it not been washed, but something adverse happened to it or something. And then you have like, I'm just going to run and throw the stuff at the dry cleaners, or I just have to do this. Please don't let
Yes.
me see anybody. And that's when you will see, business professionals, the banking person you've been trying to get a meeting with, that you're like, I know you're going to be like, oh, she was
Wait, aren't you on the
kidnapped.
radio? No.
Absolutely not.
Not today.
I know, it feels like, and
That's my twin
when
sister.
I was younger, I felt like there was less to do, so you could just run out. And now I forget it's not okay for me just to run out right now.
Yeah.
The way I look right now.
I mean, I know
need some
I know
assistance.
I know some hard-working Southern women, but in my head, I think about
They're hardworking and full face of makeup.
it's more important to be soft and feminine and, hi, sweetie, and baby, and that little bit of,
Charm.
yes, Southern soft charm.
Yes.
I never, one of the things that irritated me about my grandmother and my parents and my aunts growing up, when you would go over to their house and you'd ask them, she was like, do you want some tea? Do you want something to drink? And I'd say, do you want something to drink? No. Do you want some tea? No. Do you want some water? No. Do you want a Coke? No. And it was always that. And are you hungry? Like, they're always trying to feed you and always trying to give you a drink. Now my kids get frustrated, and I didn't realize I was doing it. And I was like, oh, shoot. I'm that person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, are you sure you don't want something to drink? I'm happy to get it. Like, just
Yeah. And then I do.
let me love you.
And I also think there's the part where don't ask, just bring them a drink.
Yes.
Because you're going to bring them a drink anyway.
Yes.
Anyways. At
Yes.
least you don't have to have the 6.
Yes.
Now they've refused your drink, and now you're doing it anyways.
You want some pie?
Yeah.
No, I'm fine.
Here's
Next
some
thing,
pie.
yes. You want some pie? I'll give you some pie. Some pie.
And I do think it used to be that when you went over someone's house, you expected to have a cup of coffee, you expected to have something to drink, you expected to have a little snack. And then I think it became, I don't want anyone over because I don't want to entertain, capital E-N-T, right? And then now we don't even have the resources, when, oh my God, what if someone comes over, I have nothing for them.
Yeah. So why do you think that is? Why do you think it was always like feed you? It's just a way of showing love.
I think there's a commonality amongst that is so primal and old that you share food. That is such a primal.
True. I don't think, but I think I
Breaking
think about
bread.
Bridgerton. I think they were so bored. Like I think about the time, like high society, and you had the coming out balls and all this stuff. I don't think they had anything to do but to create drama and be like, oh, let's go visit your house. Let's go visit your house. Let's go over to your house. And then so you've got to put on this show. At least that's how it goes kind of in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, having tea and it's what else are they going to do? They're bored.
Yeah.
It's not like they can go and play in those big corsets and those
Right.
dresses.
And they weren't
It's like
allowed to do anything.
15 pounds.
At least. It probably took you an hour to get into the outfit.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think that the breaking bread thing is huge. It's symbolic and it's a physical manifestation of I have nothing to offer, I would offer you bread. Think of that Indiana Jones 2 when he's like, this is more than these people have eaten in a month. And she's like, well, give it to them. And he's like, that's not the point. You have to eat it. They're sharing it with you. There is
Yeah.
something so fundamental
Yes.
in sharing
I think
food.
there's a vulnerability, but I also think it's being able to it's being respectful. It's inviting you into our home and saying, I appreciate you. I respect you. Like, let's bond. Okay, it's kind of a way of bonding and nurturing.
Yes, in the nurturing component of it.
That's probably the best word.
To get back into that expert conversation, do you think that there's any experts you trust in the new, I think they call it legacy media. So it's the CNN, Fox News, ABC, NBC. Do
No.
you think that's gone fundamentally?
Oh, I thought you were asking me if there's anybody that I trust in that arena. No.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it for years, so I wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson. I think, like, as far as, but they don't really talk about news. And Douglas Murray, there's a lot of things I like too. Nothing that I
I think it's hard to find investigative journalists
I think
to the level that we used to have them. I feel like everyone was an investigative journalist if they were on TV. Now I feel like the news cycle has gotten, in their defense, a little bit, the news cycle has gotten so quick, and the thing used to be about breaking stories. Who was going to be the person? Who was going to be the first newspaper that reported that the Catholic Church had a molestation issue in their
Yes.
thing? Who was going to be the one to
Well,
break
there was
that story?
there was that kind of that like adrenaline rush back then. But then now that everything is like internet at your fingertips, you can do investigative journalism. I think has a little bit of a dying.
Well, it doesn't give you the
in
time
some
to
arenas.
investigate.
Yes.
It doesn't actually give you the time to investigate what's happening because you have to report on it before you have any information.
Right, because you need to get the number. So at the end of the day, it's still news, but it's still entertainment. And they need the looks, the views, in order to get their money. They need to be number one. So it's still competitive. It's still competitive, and it's still entertainment, even though it's news. So there's always that push. There's always that push to get the information out. We have relaxed our standards, I feel, because we are not forcing that it has to be fact-checked and it has to be accurate. Because now we have we have that silly, that kind of disappeared too, that fact-checker thing that would pop up when you, especially during COVID, if you made any kind of a post that
Right,
had
and
anything.
it's not on your Facebook page. We're not fact-checking that this is Robin or that she's selling Bitcoin or any of the other nonsense she's doing.
But if you actually go down, like one of them years ago on the fact checker thing, my son had sent me this thing and he's like, open the link, find out, go and look who this company is worth. It's actually affiliated with Black Lives Matters. You had to follow a bunny trail all the way down. And then it was like the political alignments that were in a part of this too. And I was like, it's not. It's still biased. It's not a fact checker.
Right. It's not searching for the truth.
No. It's saying this aligns. The reason why it got flagged is because it does not align with whoever has the power of the platform.
Yeah, you used a word that was a word that triggers us, that makes us look at you.
Right. Right. We're in a disagreement. So it's not about facts. It's about opinion. It's about disagreeing with, pushing someone else's narrative.
And I also think back whenever this was, but I distinctly remember it. You could disagree with someone and everything still be okay.
Yes. Yes.
Everything is still okay, even though you're in disagreement, because I don't know what happens that makes people think that everything has to be 100%. So when people say, oh, but a president's doing this, or a politician's doing this, or someone's doing this, and I disagree, it's like, of course you do. You're married to someone, you disagree with them.
Right.
You disagree
Right.
with yourself, you disagree with... There's no such thing as 100% alignment, because then you'd be in a cult.
Yeah. Yeah.
You wouldn't be allowed to dissent,
But do you really agree?
or you'd be in North Korea.
Are you really agreeing to because it's how you feel, or are you agreeing because you don't really care, you want to just go along to get along? I just feel like, I wonder how many people, like, especially since there's been a lot more education in the political arena. Like, my kids knew way more about what was going on in politics in their high school than I did when I was in high school. Just the availability and the information that's at your fingertips. But even, like, I mean, of course, when we were in high school and election time would roll around and stuff, but it was never, my kids were far more educated in politics.
But do you think they had
At
an
14
agenda at that?
Of course. I do. Because why would you be pushing it? I mean, I feel like we grew up in a time where kids could still be kids. We could be kids. We could explore.
But
we
this was
could
part of
be-
the indoctrination period of
Well,
something.
the level of ignorance, and I think ignorance is the lack of knowledge. So I don't say it is a bad way, but we supported having a level of ignorance in our youth. Instead of now, it's like, now what we push is you have to know everything. Everybody, everything. Be aware of this.
Yeah, so that's
And-
really interesting. There has to be no topic that we aren't talking about.
Right.
That there is this onslaught of information that you have to keep up with that's so fast that no one has time to accurately report on it, and then it's gone. The two assassination attempts on a previous president, plus one going to be elected, got such little news.
Right.
You would almost not know. If you didn't pay attention on Saturday, by Monday it was gone.
Right.
That is bizarre.
Pushing it down. It's the same way, like I said it before, it should have been a huge wake-up call. I don't care if you liked President Trump or you didn't like him. The fact that he can be kicked off of social media.
Mm-hmm.
So you take the position, not the person. The President of the United States, can be kicked off platforms, CNN, it can be misrepresented on news, on major news channels. He can be shut down on Twitter, on Facebook, or on all these platforms. He can be kicked off. This is the person that we said as a whole society, we agree to this form of democracy. So we're going to say we respect a president. So you have to respect the title, not always the person. But the fact that the media has more power over the president of the United States,
Or to silence
dude, we
him.
are doing something wrong, majorly wrong. We're giving our power away, and that's why. To go back down to say why these platforms and Joe Rogan podcasts and things are getting more traction, and people are being more aware and open to say, maybe there's a different side. And that's what I want to support. Don't just take something at face value.
Right.
Just let it sit and say, how do I feel about this?
Right. And it's very difficult. Most of the time I'm trying to avoid news because I'm trying to, if there's some element of, if there's nothing I can do about it, sometimes I don't need to know about it right at this time.
Right.
Because there is so much going on in so many places across the world, and we don't hear anything about some of the stuff, like absolutely anything. And then other stuff we